Husband sends wife text without realizing his mistake. She had to pinch her arm to convince herself that she wasn't dreaming. Tears streamed down her face as she watched a man she loved in the arms of another. He had been her dream man, and she couldn't believe he would do something like that. Her sadness soon turned into anger. It became apparent to her that the man she had known for more than a decade was nothing but a facade, and she was determined to uncover the truth. 40-year-old Cheryl Connor prided herself in her accomplishments. She had everything she had ever dreamed of: a successful career as a university professor, a loving husband, and two amazing stepdaughters. Things weren't always perfect, however. She had faced many challenges in her life, such as infertility and financial hardships. She fought tooth and nail to have an ideal life, and things were finally precisely as she wanted them to be. However, she would soon learn that all that glitters is not gold. Cheryl and Greg had been happily married for more than 13 years. Greg and his two daughters completed Cheryl's life. Even though Cheryl married the love of her life, she knew she couldn't have it all. Greg spent most of their marriage away from home, working and trying to support his family. The situation worsened in the last few years, and Greg was called away from home and missed many holidays. Cheryl and their daughters received a simple text to wish them a Merry Christmas. No gifts and no phone calls. Cheryl would soon learn the true reason for this. There was no doubt in Cheryl's mind that her husband was doing all he could to ensure they lived the life they deserved. He was the perfect family man who sacrificed everything for them, so Cheryl put up with him never being home. When Greg told her he needed to go to North Carolina for training, she simply smiled and offered to help pack his bags. He left the following morning after kissing her goodbye. She felt immense gratitude that she had such a hardworking husband. However, one text message changed the course of everything. As Cheryl got the children ready for bed, her phone lit up with a notification. Her husband's message told her about a great church he discovered in North Carolina. He went on to share the name of the singers at the church, as he thought she would like them. Cheryl's heart warmed at her husband's consideration. She proceeded to look up the artist, and what she found made her brow furrow in confusion. Cheryl and Greg had lived in North Carolina for quite some time, so they both knew the area very well. However, the event Greg was attending was in Knoxville, Tennessee. Her blood began boiling with anger. She knew she needed to get to the bottom of his lies. Cheryl stumbled upon footage of the church service, and after watching it on repeat for a few minutes, she spotted him. Her husband was wearing the sweater she had gifted him on his birthday, holding another woman's hand. Cheryl felt as if her whole world collapsed. This discovery was the first event of many that sent Cheryl spiraling into a deep dark depression. However, as she would soon learn, all the signs were there if only she had paid closer attention. Cheryl wanted nothing more than for it all to be a mistake. She loved and supported Greg for over a decade. How could he do something like this to her? After contemplation, she decided not to confront Greg just yet. Instead, she decided to take matters into her own hands and act as a private investigator. What she discovered made her sick to her stomach. Greg was always in charge of the household finances, as he claimed to be better at financial management. Naturally, Cheryl let him do it. However, she knew the proof she needed was hidden in the stacks of bills and documents. Her eyes widened when she realized her husband had opened many credit cards under her name without her knowledge. She found receipts for shopping trips, concerts, and dinner dates. To add insult to injury, she stumbled upon a Christmas card thanking her husband for spending the holidays with another woman's family. Cheryl remembers how frustrated her husband felt because he could not spend the holidays with his family. He comforted them by saying that by working out of state, they were one step closer to financial freedom. He wanted her to believe that he was the perfect husband. But the receipt of a gift for a child that was not theirs sent a different message. He even bought gifts for the other woman's parents. However, this was only the tip of the iceberg. She decided to dig even deeper and powered on his old phones and computers. She learned that his infidelity started only 2 years after their wedding. She found even more receipts and messages from other women. Her husband detailed her fertility issues with these strangers, and Cheryl's heart broke into a million pieces. It was clear that some of the women were well aware of her existence. All the information Cheryl stumbled upon overwhelmed her, and she was still in denial, but she knew exactly what needed to be done. She knew she needed to see his betrayal with her own 2 eyes. Following her husband was not difficult at all. He usually prefers to take her car for work trips, so she rented a car for herself and made her way to Knoxville. She didn't know what she would find, but she prepared for the worst. Thankfully, her car's GPS tracking system allowed her to keep track of her husband at all times. She followed him to a dog park where he spent time with another woman. She felt her chest tighten as tears streamed down her face. It was time to face the music. Cheryl knew it was time to expose her husband for the man he truly was. She contacted her family and shared the heartbreaking news with them. She also informed her husband's parents of everything that happened. Once the news got out, she packed her bags and left their home. Her husband had to find out through his own family that she was leaving him, and he was stunned. He protested and begged her to stay, told her that none of it was true and that he was simply doing his best to take care of them. And for a brief second, Cheryl almost believed him. To say goodbye to the man she had loved for all those years wasn't an easy task. They had built a life together. Cheryl wanted to take him back and forget about the whole ordeal. However, her husband did something so terrible there was no going back. Cheryl learned that one of the women her husband was with had a child a few weeks after their separation. Cheryl's husband was still on her health insurance, and the final details needed to be hashed out. He made the mistake of registering the child on Cheryl's insurance, and once she saw his name, her heart dropped to her stomach. When Greg and Cheryl first got married, the pair actively tried to have a baby. Cheryl was so excited about having a baby that she compiled a list of names for their future child. However, after years of trying, Cheryl accepted the fact that she could not have a child of her own. She had to look at the name registered on her health insurance just to ensure she was seeing it right. She couldn't believe it. Her husband named the child one of Cheryl's names for their child. It broke her heart and she knew she had made the right decision. It took Cheryl months to heal from all the pain Greg caused her. She still struggles with trusting new people, but she met a wonderful man who is kind and patient with her. He taught her the true meaning of love and she could not be happier.